Tailoring your own dress shirts is one of the easiest things that you can learn how to do on a weekend afternoon. But there's a couple of mistakes that a lot of beginners might end up making that I want to give you a really big heads up on. I don't like long intros though, let's do this. Being too aggressive with what it is that you're trying to do. Now, I did this in the beginning, and by being too aggressive, I mean just tailoring your dress shirts so that they're way too tight. And really, quite frankly, the bigger issue or the deeper issue is the fact that you're going to get really excited about this. You're going to be like, holy smokes, I can tailor my own dress shirts at home? Awesome. And you see everybody on that other end of the spectrum where you're like, oh, all their dress shirts are really baggy. They're way too baggy. They don't fit them at all. So then you think to yourself, oh man, I'm going to go ham on this. And you do, but you do too much. It's too tight. It's way too tight. And a good rule of thumb as to whether or not your dress shirt is too tight is ask yourself this. Are the buttons, are they pulling at themselves? Yeah? Well, that means your dress shirt's too tight. You tailored it too much. And same with the sleeves too. Those can be way too tight, and that's why I'm a huge proponent of what I call the flex test. What's the flex test? Well, when you're measuring and pinning and trying on your garments, I suggest doing the flex test where you move around and you bend and you stretch and you shake and you see, well, how does your shirt fit? Does it feel good? Does it look good? Move your arm, bend your arm. Never do you just stand there with your arms straight by your sides where you're not moving at all. You can't stand there and be like, oh, yep, my shirt fits great. Okay, awesome, I'm gonna proceed. Man, speaking of button pull, I've got this checkered dress shirt that I was in love with for the longest time. It's still one of my favorite shirts, but it's way too tight. Now, how do I know that it's too tight? Because not only are the buttons pulling at themselves, but it was confirmed for me when I wore it to a wedding. I thought it'd be a good idea to wear it to said wedding. Wore it to a wedding, and this friend of mine, he's like, hey man, you got some nice A cups there. And I'm thinking like, oh yeah, I have been doing a lot of decline benches. Oh, my shirt's too tight, and it looks like I have A cups. Awesome. Thanks, man, for the heads up. I liked that shirt until that moment, but yeah, there goes that. So err on the side of caution. You can always end up tailoring your shirt a bit more if you're not happy with it. In the event that you proceed with it and you try it on and you're like, well, it could be a little bit snugger. That's fine. That's totally okay because you can do that again, but you can't go the other way. You can't put your shirt on. You can't pin it and measure it and tailor it and then cut off all that extra fabric and then seal off that raw edge there. Then you put it on, but it's way too tight. What do you do then? You don't do anything. You just wear said shirt to a wedding and then have people say that you have A cups. Oh, this one is a doozy, and it's tailoring the wrong size. Now, don't get me wrong. Learning how to use a sewing machine and tailoring your own clothes will work some magic on your wardrobe, some straight fire, but it can only do so much. You can take a giant bed sheet and turn it into a nice fitted dress shirt. We should try that sometime. That's actually a really good idea. I want to go maybe buy a bed sheet and turn it into a dress shirt. Challenge accepted. By that I mean you can't buy an XXL and then tailor it and expect it to fit like a small or a medium. And this doesn't just go for dress shirts. This goes for a lot of different things. And I was doing a search. I did a YouTube search, and there's a couple videos out there where they tell you just that. How to slim this from an XXL to a medium. And I'm thinking like, it doesn't work that way. The reason why it doesn't work that way is because that's way too drastic. Once you start dealing with really big extremes like that, everything about your shirt is bigger. And specifically about a dress shirt, the collar is going to be bigger. The cuffs are going to be bigger. It's going to be longer. When your dress shirt is longer and you take in the side seams, well, you're not really kind of taking into a fact that it's going to sit a lot lower on your body. So you might think that you're taking in the hips right there, but it's sitting a lot lower and your hips are a lot wider down there. So you're like, oh, sweet. It doesn't fit. It looks like a slim dress on me now. Awesome. And same with the shoulder. That's a really big one. The shoulder's not going to sit where you want it to anymore or where you expect it to. As an example, this shirt is a large. See my shoulder right there? My shoulder sits right there. That's my shoulder seam. In the event that my shirt was an XL or an XXL, and I did all the same stuff to it. By the way, this is the same shirt that we've tailored in the past. I just tailored it and I cut the sleeves off, and now it's my favorite shirt. Anyway, so my shoulder seam would be like right down there, right there, and it would look stupid. You guys reach out to me on Instagram all the time with these pictures like, hey SD, how can I tailor this? How can I approach this? And then I gotta kinda sort of be the bearer of bad news and be like, you can't. You can't, because it's way too much. You're gonna end up having to do way too much to it, and in the end, you're not really gonna be happy, unfortunately. So let me save you some time and just don't attack that at all. Now, as a rule of thumb, what I usually tell people to do is work within no more than 2 sizes up. So for a dress shirt, for instance, I wear a large, primarily usually a large. Now, I shoot for an extra large in the event that I want to end up slimming the side seams or doing anything to it. I will work with an extra large if it's a great price, if I have to. Anything more than that, absolutely not. And even for an extra large, that's still way too much, because the collar is going to be really big, the cuffs are going to be really big, and it'll look great, but then I'll look like a pirate. Like I'll have like this giant collar and these big old cuffs like, "Arr, matey!" Were there black pirates? Someone let me know down in the comments. This one is a doozy, and it's not adding darts to the back of your dress shirt. I love adding darts, and I didn't for the longest time. I will admit, I wasn't a huge fan of dress shirt darts. I always thought that, well, I can just take in the side seams and that's going to do enough. It's going to do enough to make my dress shirt look great on me. Will it look good? Yeah. Will it look better? Yeah, but it ain't going to look great. Now it's the complete opposite. Darts are so addicting, and I put them in all of my dress shirts, every single one of them. Now, let's kind of dial it back a little bit here. Let's say you took in the side seams of a dress shirt. Well, that's great, awesome, but see, when you take in the side seams, you are addressing a 3-dimensional problem with a 2-dimensional solution. And by that I mean, well, when you take in the side seams, imagine grabbing the side of your dress shirt on both sides and then kind of pulling it to make it look better on you. Does it look better on you? Yeah, it does, at the compromise of it being really tight on the front now, and it doesn't really do all that much for the back. It's okay. Well, that's where darts come in. Because what do darts do? They address the very back of your dress shirt. More specifically, your lower back. They attack your 3rd dimensions perfectly. And dress shirt darts can seem a little bit intimidating, but they do not have to by any means at all. That being said, let's go learn how to make some dress shirt darts, shall we? We're going to start at the beginning. We're taking in the side seams. We're going to be measuring, and then we're going to add some darts. And fun fact for you, when you go watch that video, it's in the end card, and it's the same shirt. I'll see you over there. SD out. See ya.